This video is for anyone who is stuck and looking for different options to change possibly a little quicker. This video is from a moment that I just wanted to share on who inspires me. And I think it's beneficial to reflect on that because the people that we're around influence what we do, who we are, all those things. How we show up in the world. So, and I think, so for example, I'm going to talk about my daughter, and her and I are super different. She will test boundaries, she will test the envelope, she will do all those things. I was trained not to. So she inspires me, and I will explain in a second more on that. This was a real life example. I always like to share real life examples in the moment if possible, because that's what life is. It's in the moment, and we're only going to be able to, I don't know, I learn by watching other people. I learn by observation. That's how I learn. I mean, I can read a book and I can do all those things, but I learn better if I have a demonstration. Hello and welcome. Who inspires you? My daughter inspires me. I just wanted to take a quick second and just, maybe if this actually gets posted, you'll understand why I look a little extra tired. So 2 days ago, my daughter was in a scooter accident and broke both of her wrists. So it's shocking how the physical aspect is one thing. I can do that. I can take care of her. The emotional part is just mind-boggling. So back to who inspires you. That's why I brought up my daughter. So the other reason why I brought her up today was something I wanted to share. So I just got done with the doctor's appointment because I had to get up early to go do all this, which is another reason why I look this tired. So I got to the doctor's appointment. I actually got there early. I'm actually doing really good with time today. I'm pretty excited about that. And trying to change my relationship with time. And after the appointment, I was supposed to wait to get some results or whatever. And they offered, so this is important, they offered me if I wanted to go sit in the lobby and wait for the doctor to come out and get me or tell me or whatever they were going to do, or if I wanted to wait in the room. And obviously I'm pretty tired. So the room was nice and small. It was freezing, but she gave me a nice warm blanket. And I'm like, I'd really like to stay in the room. What mom who's taking care of any sick kid, who's offered a bed, a blanket, and a pillow, would not want to take her up on that? She's like, well, there's a TV in the lobby. I'm like, no, I'm real good. She checked me a couple of times, and normally, see, this is the part that I wanted to share. Normally, I do not want to be in the way. I didn't want to hold up the room so people can be productive. That's partially it, but I always wanted to be out of the way. I didn't want to be in anybody's way. So I was just like, she offered, I accepted the room. I'll keep the room. Oh, it was glorious. It was absolutely glorious. I didn't necessarily sleep, but I rested my body, and resting my body is so nice. So the funny part was, and I know that if you're watching this and if you're like, this is not shocking to me, it is to me. Normally I would have sat uncomfortably in the waiting room, but the cool thing was that I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, if they would want the room, it's the hospital. They're gonna say, get out of here. They're gonna take the room back. She offered it. I accepted. Sure enough, after I was laying in there for what seemed like a pretty long time, she pops her head in because I had mentioned I have a different appointment, which is why I'm sitting in my car right now. I had a different appointment across town, and she pops her head in. She goes, well, the doctor is behind. The procedure that we're doing is taking longer than they expected. She's like, I know you have that appointment to get to. She's like, we can just let you go and they can call you with the results. And I'm like, that sounds fantastic. she wanted the room. But that's okay. I enjoyed the room while I had it. And I got to get to my appointment a half an hour early. You know what? I'm going to share this experience. The fact that, and every time I do these things, I do them because my daughter would do it. If somebody would offer her the room and she'd want the room, she'd be taking the room. She'd just do it. She wouldn't even think about it. It wouldn't even be a thought. And there's nothing wrong with that. Or they wouldn't have given me the option to do it. But no, normally I would just go sit in the lobby because then I'd be out of the way. This is why identity is so important to me. That's why I want to just raise awareness that identity is, I feel, sometimes overlooked, especially with people who grew up with trauma, and I don't even know how to process all that. But I skipped it again. I don't know what order you've watched this in, but I've been working on this adolescent development paper for my degree, and the whole adolescent time period, that's what we're supposed to do. But I didn't get any navigation in that. But it's amazing to me that all these super important things, I don't want to say get overlooked, because everybody's doing their very best. And somehow I think I've been getting down on myself for life going too, I don't want to say too fast, but the whole time thing, like I mentioned before. I don't know how people work a 40-hour week and get other things done, and doctor's appointments and kids and all that. I have no idea how people do that. I have no idea. The little bit I do actually go to a physical brick and mortar job currently. That's a lot. I mean, granted, I'm also going to school full time, but that's a lot. That is absolutely positively a lot. And then one thing, my daughter breaking her wrists, that's just one more thing. I don't know how people have all these kids and do all these things and all these sports and all these, maybe one day I'll get to a better relationship with time. I don't know. One of my goals, I guess, one of my goals is to find a way. We're gonna go with, there's a word that popped into my head. It was have it all. People always talk about retiring, and I technically tried to do that when I retired from hairdressing. But then I got divorced. That was a whole new ball game. It blows my mind. It just absolutely, positively blows my mind. And I thought people just got up early and that's how they accomplished everything. I got up early today. I am not a morning person. No, I am not. So I guess what I want to leave with you today is, what are those sweet moments? What are those sweet moments that you walk away from going, huh, that was awesome. And sometimes you may not even know why. You may not even know why you walked away from going, huh. I've been catching it a lot more lately, or just even, there's a lot of inner child work that people do or have. Eventually I might have some, and if I have made it, it'll be below or wherever YouTube puts it. But I am just blown away at just scraping the surface of it and just being aware of it. All of the drive, I had to drive 45 minutes to these appointments, but the drive here, I was in tears. Granted, again, the whole emotional thing with my daughter, and my heart hurts for her. My heart just hurts for her. No one wants anybody to break both of their wrists, more or less their child. Inner child stuff. So as I was driving to this next appointment, I realized that in the moment I had to walk my parts. I have a video on that someplace or below. I thought it was kind of that. The parts, the internal family systems, that is walking. They more talk about it as parts, but it can be considered inner child work to a degree too. So when I was driving to this appointment, I'm fascinated how much inner child work is. Like, that thought of me wanting to be out of the way was obviously something from childhood, that I might have known that on different levels, but never, even just saying it on this video, saying it out loud was interesting. I wanted to be out of the way. Normally I would say something different, but that's really what it is. I wanted to be out of the way. I knew they probably needed the room. They probably wanted to clean it, but they offered it to me. So I took it, and I had a really nice, relaxing wait, because part of me also believes, and this is the other part that I think was the amazed part, I guess, was The amazed part was that probably if I would have went in the waiting room, be out of the way, they may not have told me or let me go as quickly, because they wouldn't have maybe paid attention, or they would have gotten busy. I have waited longer. I'm sure everybody does. But I just thought, you know what? Then they're going to pay attention to me. And then they're going to be like, hey, we can call you later. No big deal. It was a glorious appointment. Got my appointment done. Took a little rest my body time. It was great. So I leave you with this question. Have you noticed those different times if you get angry or sad or frustrated, or your brain can't process? My brain is still having a hard time processing the fact that my daughter is in excruciating pain and I'm not. My brain's just like, I love her so much that it just can't. It's like, you're not in pain. What's the deal? You're not in pain. No, I'm not in physical pain. My wrists work just fine. My daughter is in physical pain. So it's just the emotional energy, not even the physical part of the emotional energy, just the mental, emotional energy that goes into that is just mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. So if you watch this and you notice something like that, post below. I want to know your experience. Share those moments. I want to share and hear your moments where you're like, that little bit of inspiration, the fact that my daughter does so many things, which might be why she broke her 2 wrists, but still, there's just so many things. And I think that she is 13 at the time of this recording. So that's just the beginning, roughly. Well, it's in the middle. I don't know how we want to talk about it. Sometimes the research shows that like adolescence starts at 10. Some of it starts at 4. Some of it says it's 14. And then it goes, some say 19, some of them say 25. So it's all in there. So she's 13. So I think she's first. That's one of the things, I think it was in my reading, something to do with Plato and Aristotle, about talking about how, I'm not going to get the quote right. I'll put it someplace in here, the correct quote, but it has to do with, like, she's finally getting the capacity or the concept of reasoning or deeper thinking, or what, I can't remember the terminology that my professor would want me to share. So she told me, she's like, Mom, she's like, my brain told me I should play. I was gonna go home. I was planning on home. My brain told me I should stay a little bit longer. So all those things, we all have something of that. But the more we age, the more wisdom we have in learning. Sometimes we don't. So she inspires me. Like, just the things I wouldn't even dream about doing or think about, she just do them. So she inspires me. So share who inspires you, and one of those moments where you decided to do something different. See you later.